I'm Dr. Tracy Stecker, and welcome to the Choosing Help podcast. Choosing Help presents conversations about courage, connection, and the transformative power of asking for support. Through candid discussions, expert insights, and real-world stories, this podcast breaks down stigma and opens doors to understanding. Join our community committed to compassion and courage, because when we choose help, we choose life. Welcome to Choosing Help. I'm Dr. Tracy Stecker, and I know what it's like to have a family member or a loved one who is struggling with a mental health or a substance use problem, and they're not seeking help. My dad served 2 tours in Vietnam, and I was born the week he returned from his second tour. And I saw the impact that war and his PTSD had on him and our family. And I also saw what it was like for all of us, including him, for when he refused to seek help. Not getting help can have catastrophic consequences. I worked with another veteran who returned from his deployment in Iraq, and he was also struggling with symptoms of PTSD. He thought that he could handle it on his own and was really trying to work through it on his own. He thought he was doing pretty well until one day he had a family barbecue and the family was all over at his home. And he was in the backyard with one of his sons. And his son was having one of those moments where he was asking him a lot of questions. Dad, 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 when can we? Dad, can I do this? Dad, 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 Dad. And he had one of those moments where he broke. He took off his belt and he hit that child 36 times with his belt. His family was there. One of the family members recorded the scene, and he lost his family that day. Not getting help can have catastrophic consequences. Getting help, getting trained, getting therapy, getting treatment, getting support, any of those are important. It's important to understand what you're going through, and it's important to understand how to manage some of those symptoms. In my book, Choosing Help, I discuss the common reasons why people don't seek help. There tend to be about 8 of them. It doesn't matter if the issue is depression or PTSD or alcohol use, or they don't want to go to the dentist, or they don't want to get a colonoscopy. Regardless of the condition, there are about 8 reasons why people will say, I'm not going, I'm not getting help. In this book, Choosing Help, each chapter outlines one of those reasons why people aren't seeking help. In the chapter, I give an example of somebody who didn't seek help, the reason why they weren't seeking help, and some suggestions for how to talk to them about reconsidering getting help. Today, I'm going to talk about one of those reasons, and I chose stigma for today. Some people will say, I do not want to get help because I don't want anyone to know. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to admit it to themselves. Stigma is keeping them from getting help. So I would like to present a couple of examples of people who overcame stigma as examples, and also give some guidance for how to talk with somebody if they say to you, I'm not going to treatment because of stigma, because I don't want anyone to know. My first example is Oprah Winfrey. She grew up, reportedly, in a family where she suffered from physical and sexual abuse as a child. She did not talk about this abuse. It took her a long time to talk about it. It took her a long time to seek help. The reason she said that she didn't want to seek help was because she didn't want anyone to know. She thought if they knew, they would judge her and expel her from their lives, that they wouldn't accept her anymore. They would judge her and not accept her. So therefore, she kept her pain inside. She did not seek help. She did not talk about it. At some point, she was able to change that thought and decided to talk about it, decided to seek help. She is one example of somebody who overcame that belief. I can't get help because people will judge me. People won't accept me. People will expel me from their lives. She overcame that thought, ended up getting help, and is somebody who really represents overcoming an obstacle, working through that challenge of her childhood. Another example is a veteran I worked with, another veteran that I worked with, who also was deployed to Iraq. And during his deployment, his job was security. He often worked at the front gate on their base in Iraq. And at that base, at the gate, they often had civilians interacting with members of the military, and they often had children interacting with them. One day he lost the band that he had around his wrist, and one of the Iraqi children made a bracelet for him with beads to because he had lost his band, and she wanted to give him this gift of this beaded bracelet. He thought it was very sweet and really kind of cherished it that he got this gift from this young girl. Um, at that point in Iraq, children were often strapped with C4 and were used as explosives. And it happened to be, if you want to read more about his particular story, there is more about it in this book, Five Survivors. Um, but I won't go into all the details, but he had to shoot and kill this child that gave him this bracelet. She was strapped with C4 and he shot her. And it was something that went against his moral code. He believed you never hurt a woman or a child. It went against every belief he had. And he was very, very disturbed by what he had to go through. Um, he didn't believe that he couldn't justify his own survival that day. Despite the fact that he saved other people's lives, he had difficulty believing that he was allowed to survive what he went through. It is not an easy thing to save lives. Sometimes it's not, it's the act of a hero, and he was heroic that day, but it did not feel heroic to him. It felt horrible to him. So one of the things that he did when he did tell his story was, instead of feeling, not wanting people to know because he was worried that he would be judged, he got some feedback from others that of what a hero was, what a heroic act he did. People understood his pain. They didn't judge him for his pain. People understood that that was something that was that broke his code, um, and not an easy thing to do. But he overcame his fear of being judged, talked about it, and ended up getting help. So when I'll give one more example. Right now, there's a popular TV show. I don't know if any of you are watching it, but it's called The Pit. And The Pit is a show about an emergency room. And in this emergency room, there are medical professionals, many of which are struggling with some sort of mental health or substance use issue. And it's interesting on this show, they are showing some of these 8 reasons that people don't seek help. Can handle it on my own. I'm not ready for treatment. I don't want to talk about it. I don't need help. So even on The Pit, if you're watching it, you can see our medical professionals struggling with some mental health concerns and not wanting to seek help. If you are in your life and you are talking with somebody who is needing help and not seeking help, and they say, I don't want to seek help because I don't want to be judged. I don't want anybody to know because of stigma. I want you to think about these heroes, these people who overcame obstacles, instead of not knowing what to say to them about their fear of being judged. Go ahead and turn that thought around. And if you know them well, you'll know of people that they admire who have overcome obstacles. All of us love an underdog. There are so many movies written about the underdog overcoming an obstacle. People don't tend to judge as much that you are either a victim of circumstances or got yourself into a pickle or are struggling with something. What people tend to remember was how you took that and were able to work through it and overcome it. That is something we all admire. So next time somebody says to you, I don't want to get help because I don't want anybody to know, talk to them about people they admire who have overcome something. We all admire people who've overcome challenges. We have all had challenges. So try and flip that conversation a little bit so that they can be, honor and acknowledge their fear of judgment. That might be their truth for the moment. But there's also the truth of the other side. Working through it is magnificent and heroic, and give them an opportunity to consider that as an option. And thank you for being here with me today. We would like to hear from you. We would love to hear more from our community of listeners. Do you know someone who is struggling with a mental health condition and you would like to help them, but you're not sure what to say? Please feel free to get in touch with us. There's two ways that you can contact us. One is at choosinghelp.com. The other is you can email me directly. My email is Stecker, Stecker, at musc.edu. If you know somebody who's struggling, you'd like to get some help on how to help them, feel free to get in touch with us. We would love to hear from you. Also, if you know of some success stories, you know somebody who is struggling and they really work through it, we would love to feature them. We would love to hear about them. Please feel free to share the stories of their success. If it was you, please feel free to let us know about your success. We would really like to know. We'd like to hear more from you. So choosinghelp.com is our website, or you can email me directly, Stecker@musc.edu. Welcome to Choosing Help.